Got some major news on ICP. We got some really big cooking, okay? Things are changing, and look at what's going on. The canisters, 700,000 canisters. This guy, Fabio, on Twitter, he does such a great job of breaking it all down. We've added 110,000 canisters in only 7 days, more than other months combined. Last 12 months probably combined. It is insanity what is happening, okay? People don't realize what is going on. What are the projects that's causing this? So I actually did some research. I'm going to show you the project that's actually forcing these canisters to go up. And I just wanted to go verify the information myself so that we can see. The cycle burn rate also during the day also exploded, went all the way to 3, and it went almost to 3 trillion, which is insane. So if we come here, we can see the canisters right here. I mean, it's pretty remarkable to watch this project just slowly expand and go and go. And you can kind of see, look at this insanity over an hour or two, 100,000 canisters. There's only been, 600,000 canisters before this was even deployed. I mean, this is a crazy bullish graph of the amount of smart contracts and dApps that are coming onto ICP. This is what you call adoption. I kept saying, you want ICP to get to $50, $60. Some of you think it's going to get to $100, $200, $1,000. Adoption, adoption, adoption. How do we get adoption? This is happening in front of your eyes. Look at the metrics. Look at them. They are beautiful. Now, I want to show a few more things before we really get into it. Total amount burned. It's still burning. Maybe the burning has slowed down, but it's still burning. And if you look at it through a long period, boop, I mean, this is insane amount of burn. It just continues to go up. It hasn't stopped. It continues to burn, which is great. It's still burning on the low end, 2,000 to 3,000 ICP a day. We used to go like 100, 200 a day was like a good day. Now it's just like, it's a normal day. Cycle burn rate has been expanding, and look what happened in the last couple of hours. Again, I don't know exactly what forced this all the way up to 3 trillion. It was probably these canisters being made, but my God, that means people are using ICP. We want to see this at 3 trillion all the time. That's what we want to see. And it's staying pretty steady above about 150 billion, which before, if you look back just 3 months ago, we were at 8 billion. We're not at 150 billion on a low end. It's looking good. I'm going to talk about Bob and Burn too, because Bob and Burn did something really spectacular. So I'm going to talk about that too. We got a lot to update, like I said. So what's the project that's making all this happen? It's these guys called DFinance. Okay, if you go to their website, this is what you're going to see on dfinance.app. Lend, borrow, earn, revolutionizing DeFi on the internet computer protocol. So it's a lend, borrow, earn kind of system on internet computer. This is huge. This is what it needs. Why? Why does it need this, guys? Take a second and think. We got chain key Bitcoin, chain key Ethereum, chain key USDC, Solana coming next, all this other stuff coming. Imagine one place where you can lend and borrow all of your tokens, all of them, your Solana, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, USDC. Think about the potential here. Are you getting it? The interoperability of how it works with all the other chains. Maybe they'll bring Cardano over, they'll bring the other ones over, and then you don't need to have 50 different wallets and 50 different borrowing platforms. You need one, and it could be ICP. This is what could potentially happen here. I haven't gone through all the documents here to really understand what they're doing. I don't know really who the team is. I haven't looked into it. I just got interested when I've been actually following them, but when I saw the spike here where Fabio was talking about in the canisters, I started researching to see where that spike was coming from. It's these guys. So that's what's happening. Now, let's get into the weeds a little bit more, okay? We got to keep going because there's a lot of good stuff. And I also said adoption is key. And I had a great interview last week with Richard from Mpro from this video. You guys, this is Richard. He's incredible. I'm going to put the link from Mpro down here. These are the adoption. Mpro mines, it's going to mine decentralized with local mining on ICP. These are the kind of projects we need to back. They need your vote pretty soon to get onto the launch pad. Once they get onto the launch pad, it's on because they're going to get millions of dollars coming into them. And then they're going to use that money to mine BTC and also other projects like Bob and Burn and all these and back up the ICP ecosystem. Again, adoption, adoption, adoption. More projects like this. Go listen to this AMA. It was only like a 25-minute, 26-minute, something like that. AMA with Richard from Mpro. It was incredible. It's eye-opening. These are the type of look at what's going on. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm also I did a great thing. If you guys are in my Discord group, we killed it on booty. We were buying booty down here, like around 300,000 market cap. Yes, I do other stuff besides ICP. I do a lot of other trades on other chains. This is on AVAX chain. Booty took off, and it's because it's the guys that created Cox, COQ, and it's the same guys, and they took Cox to $1 billion market cap. So a lot of people are backing them up. It's only 618 holders. So we were buying down here. As you can see, we're doing spectacular. I did an 8x. I'm well into the profit. I sold a little bit to basically cover my principal. I'm free riding now, which is what you want to do. I'm just waiting for this thing to blow up to 10, 20, $30 million market cap, and I'll slowly start selling, take some profits. I should be some really nice profits. So that's the one that we're doing right now. And also we're getting into BLEP, which is BLEP is also on AVAX, which is another token, which it runs Bellum, which is, you guys are ICP guys. You're not going to understand this stuff, but basically Bellum is the exchange that Booty started on. So people think a lot of the whales, I've been trying other videos, so I've been tracking some wallets. A lot of the Booty whales and other whales and cock whales that are worth, cock is worth a lot, by the way. COQ, it's like, or it's still worth $100 million. They got a lot of money. Guess what? They were buying BLEP. So that's why this is the logic we use out here in meme coin land. You see 100 million still for the chicken. So anyway, that's what's going on. But let's get to Burn, because look what happened to Burn. Burn had its run up, boom. It's had a couple of these, by the way. So what did I see here and what did I see here? Okay, this is what's going on. It went up on about $7,000, $8,000, and it came down. It had like about close to $20,000 sold. You can see the volume, $100,000. But why didn't it come down as much? I was really confused. I started looking down here, trying to figure out what's going on, because it shouldn't have, right? It should have come down more. Well, I started to see what is going on, and guess what? I saw added liquidity. Someone started adding liquidity. Look at this. 2,922 ICP added twice. So somebody added about 6,000 ICP, and then they bought. Actually, more than that, they added this too. Unfortunately, after they added it, they got kind of taken by the community here because they sold into it. What these people should be doing, and I don't understand, give the Dow King a call. Give them a call. I'll tell you what to do on this. First of all, you don't add liquidity after you pump up something, because it's just not the way to do it. The way you add liquidity, see, they wanted to bring up the price. I know what they were thinking, but it doesn't work, okay? So the way you want to do it, you want to add liquidity when it's cheaper, so you back up more of the tokens. So then, yes, it takes more to push it up, but it also takes a lot more to push it down. So it actually stabilizes it quite a bit. So what they wanted to do was they wanted to push it up, okay, which is what they did. And they added liquidity, so it makes it harder to push it down. But in the meantime, they lost like thousands of ICP. I mean, if they got money like this to burn, then damn, I don't know what to tell you. Good for them. But the way it would have worked out better is if they would have added the liquidity. The price would have probably been the same, and they would have had more liquidity of ICP in the pool, because they could have come in and bought 5 or 10 grand right behind it after they added at a lower price. And then they could have bought it. It wouldn't have moved as much, but it would have gone to like 4.5. But there would have been more backed ICP behind it. You see what I'm saying? It would have been a much more solid foundation than just a couple of randoms just stealing the ICP, which is basically what's happening here. And they're doing it here and they're doing it here. I don't know. That's the way I would have done it. I mean, obviously these guys have a lot of money. I'm getting really impressed by Burn. And I'm getting impressed by them because they have a lot of money. They have more money than Bob, it seems. Where's Bob? Bob in here? No, I don't even have Bob. Not even tracking Bob. I don't own any Bob, but I do own Burn. I've been buying Burn, and it looks like buying Burn has been the way to go. This is Bob. So the market cap are very similar. The pooled ICP is actually more over at the Burn side. So there's 3,600 pooled ICP here, which is Burn has more, over 4,000. I mean, they had over 6 or 7,000 until the, people started, and the charts are dramatically different. And you're going, why are the charts dramatically different? Well, the charts are dramatically different because Burn no longer has very high inflation while Bob does. So the Burn's inflation is pretty much over with. So this is why I'm kind of more bullish on Burn than I am on Bob. I think they're both great. We need to back both projects up, but I think the guys over at Burn have more money. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing what's happening. I'm seeing them do these buys. I'm seeing them add liquidity. I'm seeing them do stuff that Bob isn't able to do, even though Bob is the first generation of its project. Burn guys are kind of taken over in a way. I mean, if they continue to do this 1 or 2 more times, and they've done it before, this is not the first time they've done it, and we can actually go in here and see where they've added or removed. And this is the other thing. Got to make sure, you see, this is another thing, that they don't remove liquidity. So removing liquidity could become a problem, right? So we don't know who they are. They're not docs. So this is something that we got to also think about. Okay, so it looks like this 1,000 just came recently, was about it. Let's see if we do like 250, what happens if we get, okay, so they had added 3 days ago, and AC someone took out 18 days ago. So these are things that we got to also think about when we're looking at these projects, because they're not necessarily docs projects. We don't know who they are. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We got to be careful. Can't put everything in there. So, so far, I'd like to see this liquidity get locked. Right now, it's not, but I'd like to see it. So this is what's going on. And I like what they're doing. I would step in here lightly. Just be careful. Overall, I would be very, very cautious, very careful. I'm only buying small amounts, $50, $100 at a time. And I'm stacking, I'm DCAing. I think Burn, because these guys are dabs, these guys are going to do a really good job. So that's basically it for ICP, guys. There's more and more to cover on it every day. It's exciting. The ecosystem is flourishing. You can actually come to Dex Screener and also onto what's the other website, ICP Coins, and you can kind of see all the coins and you can see what's trading. And it's, it's a lot of volume on some of this stuff. Look at Chainkey USDC. I mean, this is some of that 1.1 million. This is some of the highest volume I've seen. EXE, you're starting to see some volume on some of the Burn token hit 100,000. Chainkey Bitcoin hit 159,000 volume. I mean, we're starting to see some nice volume coming through. Now, this isn't necessarily a big deal for, and then, yeah, you got, look at that. You got Chainkey Link. This isn't necessarily, volume is not a determinant for ICP. ICP is computing power. So these are not determinants, but it just shows you the growth of the system. And you can compare it, 1.1 million is not bad. And it's actually a little bit higher, by the way, because there's some tokens that are not taken into consideration here, and some exchanges probably too. But when you start to compare it to some of these other chains, even Kronos, which has been around since the last bull run, 1.4 million, ICP is already at 1.1 million, for example. Same thing with Moonbeam. Moonbeam was around from the last one, 1.4 million. So you start to look at it. Hedera, only 1.9 million, or Manta. Manta's newer, so that's okay. But Hedera is at $1.9 million. So you're starting to look at these, and then you're like, okay, there's potential. And obviously, when you get up to probably ZK Sync, yeah, you get into the 6, 7, 8, and then Phantom. Phantom's been doing good too, 14 million. So you start to see the more robust systems. I think eventually ICP can move there, but that's not its goal. Its goal is to create computing power, AI power, and all of the stuff that is basically creating these massive burn rates. This is just cherry on top, basically. So I view ICP a little bit differently than I do other stuff. I use a different sort of metrics. I'm looking at the canisters. I'm looking at the cycle burn rates. I'm looking at total burn, and it's all looking absolutely fantastic. And the chart, it's steady climbing. It's holding its own out there. I'd like to see it a little bit stronger, and I look at relative strength. So like, for example, we'll take this. Near 24 hours was up 7%. That's pretty strong, right? And then you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, barely up a little bit. So then I come down, I see, okay, ICP in the last 24 hours has dropped 1%. It's showing not strength, not weakness. It's just kind of keeping its average, okay? So I want to be in tokens that show strength. So that's the whole thing. But it's you know, and BitTensor is showing strength. Near is showing strength. When is ICP going to show strength? Because it is, out of all this, the best technology. That's really the question. Patience is needed here. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay. So that's something to remember. Near has more users and more activity on it. And also probably a pretty good buy, to be very honest with you. Near is also a project that's AI driven and has other stuff going for it. So these are things I'm looking at. I'm looking at seeing who has the best relative strength. I think BitTensor has moved up a little bit too much for my taste. Doesn't do as much stuff as ICP. So I'm starting to compare. I'm looking. But Near has some stuff that's actually really interesting, has a bigger community. So these are the things I'm looking for as we're getting into the bull run. If we're going to see 40, 50, 60, 80, $100, like a lot of people think it's going to get to, guys, we need adoption. Adoption is coming. When is it going to be our Solana moment where it just keeps going? That's the key. That's what I'm looking for. And that's why I'm looking at relatively towards other tokens, seeing how they're holding up. See, everything here is kind of holding up with the guys on top until you get to Near. Near is the first one that kind of breaks out. And then Sui, obviously, because the user base on Sui is going up too. So these are things to kind of keep an eye on. When you start seeing ICP outperforming, that's the moment that we're going to have this just vault up to the top. And BitTensor kind of had that where they went from 200 to 600 recently, and they're still showing relative strength. We're going to wait for those moments. I believe it's going to come. They're putting in the work. They have the best technology and the best team in all of crypto. Let's see when that's going to happen, gentlemen. So anyway, best of luck. This is exciting stuff. I'll talk to y'all soon.